Hey guys, it's Sharon from Digital Nomad Quest. I'm here with Jessica Moorhouse. She just did an amazing seminar on basically going from hobby blogger to money expert. So I want to dig in more about that. I like really resonated with what you talked about, you know, kind of being an introvert and then breaking out of your shell, as well as sort of doing like a whole rebrand and everything. Maybe first of all, would you be able to like tell us about yourself to the viewers out there?
Sure. So I'll give you a really short synopsis.
Yeah.
So I started blogging as a hobby 8 years ago in 2011, and it was really just so I can be creative after work, have something to do, and to just like also meet new people in the community. And that's been really cool about blogging, is meeting other bloggers. And then I realized that there was a way that you could actually make some money off this, and I'm like, maybe I should look into that. I made so many mistakes and eventually decided to kind of shut down that first blog and start new, totally rebrand, and really kind of have a hyper focus on not just being a random personal finance blogger, but have a very clear purpose in that I want to be a millennial money expert. So really speaking to millennials, specifically millennial money issues, and really kind of owning that space. And I've been doing that full time almost 3 years now.
Awesome. Did you have that idea that you were going to be this person when you first started blogging?
No, I thought I started the blog just as a way to learn some like digital marketing skills. I thought that was the trajectory of my career, and I wanted just like something to do. Like I just graduated from film school, and so I was used to working, doing a lot of creative things, and so I needed a creative outlet, and so writing on a blog seemed like a really good fit. Never thought it would have turned into something like this.
Yeah, I mean, what was Moorhouse about? That was your original site, right?
Moorhouse is R.I.P. It was a ridiculous play on words. My last name's Moorhouse. Mo Money, Mo Problems is a great song. It was really just, I wanted it to be like personal finance with a dash of sass. That was the tagline I had. I thought it was hilarious. I made so many interesting choices. It was really just me just documenting my personal finance journey. So if I like, hey, I just learned this new way to budget, or hey, I just learned how to invest, or oh, I'm having trouble with this, or I learned this, that's what I would share. So it was really just about me and my personal journey and what I learned. And then at a certain point, I felt like I just explored every part of me, so I wanted to stop talking about me and just kind of turn the camera and focus on others and just talk about how I can help you.
Got it. And was there something that like sparked the rebrand? Did you come across somebody who's talking about something?
Well, I think part of it was I saw a couple other bloggers do rebrands successfully. I was also working for a law firm at the time that was going through a major rebrand, so that was a big inspiration and help for me to learn what to do in a rebrand. I had no clue. And then I think I was also looking at what did I actually want to do and achieve, what was the purpose of this new blog, and I realized I didn't want to just be a blogger. I wanted to actually be like that money expert I'd always see on TV, have book deals, be public speaking, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, that is where I have my sights set, so let's try to get it.
Interesting. All right, so you mentioned you got like a lot of media attention after you did that whole rebrand. Was there something specific that got you that traffic, that attention?
I think I was just one of the few millennials who were also like a personal finance blogger, content creator at the time in Canada that was really owning that kind of term millennial money expert. And also I was doing a lot of different things. I started my own event series. I was putting out a lot of content on my social media and my blog. I had a podcast and was one of the few personal finance podcasts in Canada. So I was kind of doing a couple different things. And also I just made sure to honestly use keywords and like search engine optimize everything. So if a journalist or a brand who's looking for a millennial money expert in Canada or Toronto, they would find me.
Okay, got it. And do you think it's possible to do this with like an umbrella name instead of just like your own name as the domain?
Absolutely. I'm definitely not someone that would be the expert on that, but there's some huge bloggers out there that have grown these amazing blogs and they've done it successfully. They definitely, I feel like what they've really done well is, again, it comes down to search engine optimization. So you may not come up as your name, but maybe it's the content you're putting out. So if someone is searching like, how do I invest with $1,000, you want to make sure that your content is coming up first. So I think that's, you really put a focus more on content and less about yourself, maybe.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think about my strategy for my own.
Yeah.
It's my own thing, right? So, Digital Nomad Quest was trying to teach passive income, but also talk about designing your life and things like that. But yeah, I think when I was at your talk, I was like, like maybe I need to change everything. But
not necessarily, though. I think there's so many great examples out there of people that, because sometimes I think it's not so much about the brand name. It's about your brand proposition, really what you're putting out there. Because there's a lot of brand names, I'm like, where'd that name even come from? But you really like the people, the content, and just like the vibe.
Okay, you think it's like doable?
It's doable. I'm not saying it's right for you, so it's definitely something you need to do more research on and really feel like at the end of the day, do a bunch of research, do due diligence, and really see, is this a name that I do want to keep, or does it make more sense to go with a different name?
Yeah, and you mentioned kind of doing a lot of podcast stuff, social media stuff, blog stuff. Was there like a certain amount of blog posts you were putting out per week, amount of podcasts you were putting out?
For me, I've always been you always have a limited capacity in what you could do. So if you want to put out a lot of content, you may have to hire help to create more content. I've always just done everything myself, so I've always been, one blog post a week, one YouTube video a week, one podcast a week.
Okay, and you think that's like fine to get that
For me,
traction?
that's worked, but you may have to do less or more. It depends.
Okay. And when did you get your first speaking gig?
The first speaking gig I got was it was for these two guys that were at this university in Ontario, and they were putting on a financial literacy event, and it was for high school students. And again, they found me through just searching, who's a millennial who knows money in the Toronto area. They found me, and so I had to create a 30-minute presentation for this. It was a good large amount of people. It was a couple different high schools that were there to learn about it, and I was terrified, and I don't think I did it very well. It wasn't very well put together because honestly, these two guys were like university students that they didn't really know what they were doing. Yeah. I didn't get paid, obviously, but it was a really good learning experience. I took that, and then I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do differently, and then the next thing I did was way better.
I mean, that's like impressive. You said you are kind of more introverted. Like, what brought you out of that?
Well, here's the thing that I learned is being introverted doesn't mean being shy. And sometimes I can be shy, but introverted really just means that when you are doing something social around people, you need to have that personal downtime to recharge. And that's definitely who I am. But so when you think of that, introvertism is not about being shy. It's just about that's how you recharge. Yeah. Then that kind of, I think, opens up the possibility that you can go out and get what you want. Like, no one's stopping you but yourself. Yeah. So it's really about doing that first thing that scares you, and then succeeding, and then doing another thing and another thing, until there's so many things that I have done in my past now that I'm like, I can't believe I did that. That's so unlike me. Like the thing I did today, the session, I'm like, that would have scared the living daylights out of me 4 years ago. But I did it, and it was awesome. And I liked doing it. It wasn't scary. It was actually fun. So you just have to keep on pushing yourself.
Cool. Do you feel like doing it more and more just made it
that is the only way to get good at something, is just doing things over and over and over. Yeah, practice makes perfect. More experience builds that confidence, and then everything seems a bit easier.
Yeah, how many have you done now? Like, how many speaking gigs have you done?
I'll have to look at my website. I'm not even sure, but I know at least for this year, 2019, I think, for the ones I've done and the ones coming up, I think about 15.
Wow, okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
So,
do you feel
practice makes perfect. Like, it's now I don't even get nervous. It's
wow, really?
Not that big of a deal.
That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. But I practice a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you feel like doing all these like in-person things really help get you kind of more clients or more?
100%, because you have that one-on-one engagement with someone, which is so much more impactful than meeting someone online. So that's why I actually love doing these offline things, because you can meet a lot of great friends, meet great connections that could lead to a work opportunity, or you can convert someone into a client because they really like you. They just saw you speak, or they just met you when you had a really good connection. Yeah. So offline in conjunction with online is key, I think.
Okay. Like, would you say for your business that actually made the biggest difference doing this?
I'd say so, yeah. I feel like a big turning point was me doing my first event and finally, for the first time ever, putting faces to kind of the numbers behind everything I was doing. I got to meet the real people that followed me for a while, and they were real people. And so I think that was a big turning point for me and really impactful.
Awesome. Do you have any last words of advice for people who want to take their blog from hobby to actually making a lot of money from it?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I could share. I'd say one of the key things, I actually shared this with someone this morning who asked me the same question. I think one really important thing to remember is this is a long game. So I started my blog 8 years ago. I didn't think it would turn into this. I'm super glad it was, but it really was. I never stopped. I never quit. I just kept on going. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've failed a lot of things, but you just kind of learn from that and keep on moving forward. So you just don't get caught up in the idea that things have to be perfect to start. Just start, and then you'll get better and improve and improve.
Yeah, it's great advice. Where can people find you?
You can find me. My website is jessicamoorhouse.com. I have a YouTube channel under the same name, and I also run the Mo Money podcast. You can find on any podcast station.
Nice. You still kept the Mo Money.
I did keep the Mo Money. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much. Yeah, I learned so much from this interview, from your seminar. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome.